Hello everyone, welcome to Indian Economy by Aman Soni. In today's news hour, we'll be discussing the important economy related articles from the Hindu newspaper. In page 1, we have a mention of MSP. MSP panel only after polls, says minister. So we know that MSP is announced on around 22 crops and the fair remunerative price on the sugar canes. The recommendations of the MSP is done by the Commission for Agriculture Costs and Prices, CACP. But finally, the approval of the MSP is given by the Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs, chaired by the Prime Minister. So in prelims, we might get a question asking who approves MSP. CACP just recommends MSP, but it is the Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs that announces the MSP. Disinvestment deals matter, not the targets. So there is a criticism on the government that in this year's budget, the disinvestment targets are reduced. It has been only around 65,000 crores, which is among the lowest in the last 6 years. But the government department reply that the reduced targets are not a reflection of government slowing down on privatization, but in fact it shows our realistic targets. We can have a high targets in the budget but not implement anything, or we can have realistic target and implement them, which is more important. In the editorial page, we have a news related to India-UK Free Trade Agreement. In the previous article related to the FTA, we have discussed what are the benefits of the FTA and how it would impact the trade of both the countries. This article focuses more from the geopolitics and geostrategic perspective. Let's go through it. So the article says that both the countries are in negotiations to increase the trade between them and to increase their bilateral trade to around $100 billion by 2013. And the specialty of this free trade agreement is this just doesn't include goods, services and investments, but it also includes provisions related to intellectual property rights, GI tags, about digital technology, anti-corruption and etc. So why is this free trade agreement important now? Because it is in the context of UK coming out of European Union after the Brexit, and the global supply chains are getting affected because of the COVID economy. So it is important for both the countries to get into a trade pact. India is already doing this with other countries, like we are getting into an FTA with the UAE. We are also at the discussion stage with Australia. So a FTA with UK is just another step in this process. The current government is wanting to engage with trade partners and have balanced trade pacts so that we get a clot in the Indo-Pacific region, and the other pacts in the region are the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, the Trans-Pacific Partnership. Those are all gaining traction. And why are free trade agreements important? Because when you want to have a strategic partnership with a country, without having the economic connect, the partnership won't have any meaning. When you have the economic connect, there would be dependency of both the countries, so it will have some meaning in that. And in the times when the economic clout of China is rising, it is all the more important for India that it goes for a free trade agreement with other countries so that it will benefit us strategically also in the Indo-Pacific. And after the Brexit, even the United Kingdom is tilting towards the Indo-Pacific. And what are the reasons for that? The security policy of UK has said that it will have more engagement in the Indo-Pacific. And one of the strategic partners of UK, the USA also have heavily invested with the Indo-Pacific. So it is natural for UK USS ally to also do the same thing. And the alliance of UK is shifting from China. They are thinking to diversify to other countries. So they are looking for India as a strategic partner now. And both the countries being democracies, we know the importance of having a free, open Indo-Pacific, which will provide stability and prosperity in the region. Thus, the article says that we should have a proper agreement between both the countries in such a way that it should benefit both the countries, and this would also have strategic benefits for India, wherein it will help us go against the economic clout of China by having diversified markets. We can skip the news page because there are no news related to economy. In the business page, no need to go through this Indigo news. We just need to know what is this concessional tax rate. Previously in 2019, in order to encourage the corporates to set up manufacturing business in India, the government reduced the corporate tax. The corporate tax was around 22%. The government reduced it to 15% for certain firms with a turnover of less than so many crores. So they had to only pay 15% of corporate tax if they set up a new manufacturing business in India and start their production before March 31st, 2023. Now in this budget, we have increased the timeline till March 2024. That is, we have extended the timeline by another year so that more number of firms can get the opportunity to set up their manufacturing units in India and get the benefit of tax concession. Let's look at this article. Oil, gas will keep meeting India's baseload energy demand. We need to understand what is baseload energy. In electricity transmission, the demand keeps fluctuating at various times. For example, during the night times at around 7 to 9 p.m., more number of people would be consuming more electricity. So the load on the electricity transmission company would be more at that time. And during the other times of low economic activity, the people would consume less electricity. So at that time, the demand would be low. What is base load? Base load is minimum average amount of electricity load that the transition company has to meet. Now the article says that in spite of we diversifying our sources of energy needs, still oil and gas will be the main source for us to meet our baseload energy requirements of electricity transmission. India set a goal to achieve net zero carbon emissions by 2070, but at the same time, even now 85% of our crude oil requirements it met through imports. But the per capita consumption of India is too less compared to the global average. While we are trying to diversify our sources, we are still meeting a majority through our oil imports, and because of the rising global oil prices of the crude oil, we are trying to increase the output domestically through our gas exploring companies. No need to go through the TVS news, Geo news, Facebook Meta news. That's all in today's news hour. Thank you so much.